good afternoon, good evening, family. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Mental House with me, your host, Khadija. We're going to touch on several topics today. I'm going to kind of do this like a magazine type of um, video. And um, whatever I say, I want you to charge it to um, me really having compassion for my people. And when I say my people, first of all, I mean human beings everywhere, all of mankind. Let's get that straight. Because, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, I say it all the time, the biggest problem on the planet is either you operating off of two principles, either love or you operating out of fear. As a nation, we could be operating off of love or we could operate out of fear. Now, let's take it to a large scale. Don't you think that this government of these United States of America can only give the people that they've actually captured and enslaved and built a whole system off of free labor. There's only certain amount of crumbs that they can give you that will resemble freedom or equality because it is what it is. It's in the fabric. So for the person that's perpetuating, the government that's perpetuating this upon its citizens, they can only keep implementing more laws to us, more laws, because they operate out of fear. Fear that we getting out of hand, fear that we are on to the bullshit, fear that information is everywhere, fear that we see just how much wealth they've stolen from us, fear that we are now armed with not more than just descendants of slaves who have been trained faster, um, more rapidly than any other group that was in captivity. Look at it. In 400 years or less, we have learned how to run cities, run police departments, do all this stuff from the inkling of captivity. Whether you were born free and y'all seen the movie 12 Years a Slave. I don't need to go into that because there was indigenous people that was roaming the lands. See, slavery is a system that had to be implemented, that had to be worked out because there were people that were free that was actually being thrown back into captivity. Let's don't forget this because if you can see that, then you can see today. These people are operating off of fear. Fear that if we ever get free, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, because you can't forget the spiritual component, then we're going to do to them what they did to us. Maybe true, maybe not. But this is the biggest fear, okay, in my opinion. Now, if you operating off that kind of fear, then you have to do any and everything to keep these people on lockdown. I think the victims of this type of drama, the worst thing that they can do is start blaming themselves because see, frustrating being in captivity is such a sad thing. It's such a hard thing that you want to blame somebody. You want to blame black people for not being strong enough to get themselves out of it. You want to blame anybody. You want to blame the people from the 60s to say that what they didn't do and they sold you out and this and that to me is the biggest downfall of black folks. That's the biggest ignorant, stupidest thing. And you see, one thing about white people, they honor the people that went on before them. That's how they run in the system. You, on the other hand, you've been trained like a slave. I don't care what kind of degree you got, one you, what even the ones you claim to have. At the end of the day, look how you are blaming victims. Look how, and the people are so damn confused that they just looking for a way out. They'll believe any damn thing. They give their money to narcissistic shysters and become real defensive if you begin to see the holes in these people's stories or what they're doing. You got a whole crowd of people now that's ready to assassinate you because they can't handle the truth. They're flying monkeys. I told you this is a system of narcissistic abuse. If you just look at it for what it is, they deflect, they project, they gaslight. These are all the attributes of narcissism. So the country is ran by the red coats. Is that what they were when they ran away from England? And what was it, Paul? Who said, "Give me liberty or give me death"? They see the psychosis of that, and then not to see us wanting liberty shows you what you're dealing with. But us, on the other hand, are even worse because right now we're totally outside our nature, and we have been trained to a degree now where we blame each other. And I want to warn all of you young people that are young enough to be my children. When you start blaming people from the civil rights era for the condition that we're in now, you are doing us a big disservice, and you need to stop it. And if that's what you're gonna do, then you're using your platform to me in a very, very dishonorable way. You're sitting where you're sitting now because some of the things that the people from the civil rights era did, and for you to come away with just the fact that they were passive. I mean, you're negating everything that happened. You're negating the economic strategies that were used. You're dismissing it all, but yet and still, I don't see nothing but a bunch of high tech. And I can speak on it because I was there. I see nothing but a bunch of high tech Twitter finger revolutionaries. That's what I see. Um, when I was little, uh, when we would be coming home from church, the church is like 2 blocks away from where I stayed, and um, there was a young man by the name of Robert White. I don't know, a lot of y'all might remember Robert. Robert used to carry me home. My mom had 2 other my siblings and I, so I was the youngest at that time, or second to the youngest. So my legs were short. I didn't walk very well. When Robert would come home, he was Sister White's son. They lived across the street, but he would always carry me. I guess you saying, what the hell they got to do with anything? Well, Robert ended up being one of the Milwaukee Three. You want to know who they are? They are responsible for pretty much, I won't say responsible, but they had a big part in the riots that took place in Milwaukee. Um, Robert went to jail. I think Robert killed a police officer. Um, and, you know, his mother was very, you can imagine back in, 67, 68, somewhere up in there, how discerning it was because the racism was so overt, and there were things that were happening that was happening then that wouldn't dare happen now under the auspices of freedom. Back in the day, you couldn't even make a complaint against the police department unless you were a property owner. So for some of you arrogant, pompous people that are saying things that you have no knowledge of, what do you think Ida B. Wells, if you saying that these people were worthless, were cowards, do you realize between the year the 1917 or 19 and between the year 1921 there were more race riots, white mob lynchings, or black people saying, "Hey, look, I'm not gonna take this." Black people, in fact, the Oklahoma City, the burning down of Oklahoma City, if I'm not mistaken, Rosewood, all of them started because black people wasn't taking what white people were uh, doing after they attacked them. Okay, so it wasn't like we were attacked and we just sat there with our hands folded. Yeah, in some cases, in some instances, that was just one component. There was also a component that worked, like I said, in the boycott to make sure that those things didn't happen. It was a progression. So you cannot sit there and down your heroes and say that they were cowards and that they are the reason. No, They're the reason your black ass got the ability to open up your mouth and even say something. So how dare you shit on them? How dare you? Now, that to me is just as counterproductive of the frustration as the frustration that you have for being in captivity. Once you understand that we are a captive people. See, one thing about the black people of old, we had no, um, we were under no illusion of who this society said that we were. Knew that we knew the lot that we had. We didn't have MTV and social media and Rolls Royces, so we could think we were that much better than somebody. There was a certain amount of camaraderie that was involved with us as well, and even the generation before me. But what I see about the couple generations behind me is that is a lot of talk and a lot of blaming them, which are victims of white supremacy. So, because if you got an easy answer, I'm sure you could have implemented it by now, and it all would be going away. And it don't just consist of you talking and saying what the problem is. Your people are so damaged; they have been trained to be damaged. They are so damaged that they can't understand that they are the architects of their own misery. They can't even understand um, that they are willing participants in their own demise. Okay, and if you want to know, and you can look at that on every level. You can look at it like with um, the music business, how they were successful in getting you to participate in your own demise by calling yourselves savages, calling yourself murderers. This getting you to glorify uh, a lot in life that most people are going to look at you because yin and yang operates everywhere. And we understand that there's bad elements in the police department. But of course, most people would like to think and see things in a bow wrapped up nice and neatly. So that they can get you to say, oh, I'm the criminal, I'm the gangster, I'm the killer, and get you to glorify that. And then you want to worry about, you seem shocked that when you walk out in the street and they see a young black male unarmed, because they certainly ain't going nowhere in these neighborhoods where they know the brothers is armed and shoot them down. Well, that's the culture that they think we all love. That's there was Dionne Warwick and there was Barbara. I mean, well, I can't think of their names now. Countless of women that had visionary that knew that this is the place that we were going to be in if we kept uplifting and perpetuating ignorance, violence, negativity, misogyny, and all that other stuff. They knew we could, as women, we saw it, we could see it. We got intuition very strong. So, and if we plant these seeds today, because these people want to dangle money in our face, don't you realize that in terms of you looking collectively as a group to move you forward, it's almost impossible? And the minute you accept that, you can have some kind of liberation in your own mind. Stop worrying about everybody else being liberated, because I guarantee you, if each person is liberated individually, and don't even if you liberate yourself completely individually, there's no way the collective won't be awoke. It's impossible for them not to be. So I just want to say, it really disturbs me when I look at Bobby Seale, and I just had the book. I was just thinking about the book he wrote that explained his feeling, Soul on Ice, and that was Eldridge Cleaver. Uh, and then I also think about the books that Ida B. Wells wrote. Do you know how courageous she had to be to try to give you literature? And you know how important literature is? Because that's what was wrong with the slaves. That's why they didn't let you read. And that was one of the biggest sacrifices a person could make. And there was a bounty on her head, just like it was a bounty on Harriet Tubman's head. You can't help it that she knew she wasn't evolved enough to have an army to kill white people. The only thing she could do at that point was just get them from the south to the north. And that's what happened. Can't blame victims for being in this situation. Nor can you expect to walk into the kingdom pearly gates with a whole group of Negroes. It's not gonna happen. Of niggas that have been subjugated and depressed and abused and uh, whipped and raped, not just for days, not just for months, not just for years, but hundreds of years. And if you think that you are going to orchestrate them all into a beautiful moving machine to go after this liberation, you chasing the pipe dream. That ain't how it go. I think you pick your shots, and the fight never ends. Every generation has to fight his fight in the way that he sees fit to fight his fight. Y'all got the day of the internet. So to me, it's amazing how we can infuse information so quickly. Okay, like we found out who that officer was that beat that boy up. Okay, now the thing is, what are you gonna do with that information? Are you just gonna sit there and look at it? Because I know generations that would have been like, okay, this is who it is, this is what it is, and then they'll act accordingly. That's what my generation did, and that's what the generation before me did. I don't see that happening. I just see y'all making hashtags and then running around here like you revolutionaries. That's a that's a downfall of us, and we got to start loving each other no matter what. Unless you find somebody is doing something totally detrimental to your existence, and that person could be black or white, because they. Let me say that again. That person could be black or white, because I want y'all to know something right now. I went to jail. I keep saying it. Registering people to vote. My people in an area where less than 15 or 20% of the people voted. You understand what I'm saying? And because we concentrated on this area that nobody voted in, that area became immobilized. It became empowered, and the people began to vote in that area. And you know what happened? They put me in jail. I was part of the Alberto Gonzalez voter fraud state. Okay, as a musician, I'm not a politician. I was helping a friend of mine out that was a politician. And you know what happened? I went to jail. And you know what? He went to jail. And but let me tell you something. Not one Negro put up any money for my defense fund. Not one Negro came and saved me and said, "Well, see, we out here. See, you out here pushing the work. We know you walked this pavement. We know you registered thousands of people." Yeah, okay, so we are a conquered people. We don't have no wealth, so I can't blame them. They was trying to just protect the alderman. They wasn't trying to protect me. I was just a person that happened. They didn't have money for that. They didn't have resources like that. But them other people do. So you gonna blame that? I could get mad and blame, oh, y'all niggas didn't get me out, or y'all Negroes didn't do. I can do that because that's what happened. But I know being in the lot that we in, we dealing with everything from a limited perspective, whether it's finances, whether it's information, all those things. All I can do is try to find like-minded people and let them know, hey, this is what worked before. This should be a strategy now. I'm not going to be shitting on the people that came before me, and I suggest that you don't do that yourself because you're not going to get very far with that one. And that's pretty much why we continue to spin our wheels in the mud. All right. Like what you hear, please subscribe, like, and share. I'll be back. Bye bye, family.